Good morning and welcome to a digital workshop provided to you by the University Writing Center. My name is Allison Hazlett and I'm the Professional Writing Coordinator, and today we'll be discussing resumes and CVs. To begin this workshop, I want to provide you with a brief outline. First, I'm going to discuss the University Writing Center and the resources that it provides. Then we will talk about creating a resume. We'll go over what it is, what it should contain, and how it is formatted. We will then complete a brief resume activity, and then we will transition into creating a CV. We will talk about how it differs from a resume and how it should be formatted. We will then go into resume and CV recommendations along with formatting tips and tricks. We will then close with helpful resources that can further aid you in creating your resume or CV. So, how can the University Writing Center help you? Well, we work with writers during all stages of the writing process in all disciplines and at all levels. We believe in providing you with the tools to gain confidence in your writing rather than fixing it for you. It is a collaborative process where we work with writers and provide a peer audience throughout the entire writing process. So what kind of projects can you bring to the University Writing Center? Simply put, if it has any type of writing, we can help. This includes essays, research papers, or academic projects in any discipline, speeches and outlines. We can also help you with personal projects such as resumes, cover letters, statements of purpose, grad school applications, or creative writing pieces. We encourage you to bring in longer projects such as theses or dissertations. And we can also help you format your e-portfolio and other multimedia projects such as PowerPoints, Prezis, or poster presentations. Now, on to our first topic, resumes. It is common knowledge that a resume is one element of a job application. But what is the actual purpose of a resume? The purpose is to give potential employers a snapshot of who you are on paper. So, what does a resume contain? While the arrangement of these is dependent on your field and the specific job application, these are some topics that many resumes will and should include. First is education. This should only include degrees of an associate's level or higher, so a bachelor's, master's, or PhD. Next is employment history and relevant experience. You will also include honors and awards, certifications, relevant skills, and you'll list community involvement. This can be volunteer work, academic clubs, etc. Let's look at some of those topics in a sample resume. Because formatting is subjective, this template is to help provide you with a general visual guide to resume design. Not all resumes will look like this, and not all resumes should look like this. To begin, I want to point out the difference in field experience and other experience. Field experience can be used to demonstrate internships or employment in your field that is directly related to the job for which you are applying, while other experience can be used to demonstrate longevity in a position, employment diversity, or other skills you have obtained. Next, I want to point out some key design elements, beginning with white space. White space can be used to maximize the amount of information on your single-page resume. In this template, white space is used to list the location and dates of education, employment, and community involvement. By shifting the location and dates to the right-hand side, this individual is able to save space, therefore increasing the amount of information included. White space also provides a neutral visual barrier for your reader, allowing them to rest their eyes for a moment before the next line or section. Second, I want to note the formatting of the headings and subheadings on this resume. It is important to be uniform, clear, and organized on your resume, and these headings and subheadings aid in achieving that goal. Finally, it is important to break down the job descriptions and responsibilities on your resume. This allows you to directly relate the skills you have listed to a job or internship where that skill was attained, therefore providing your potential employer with a clear picture of who you are as a professional and the abilities you possess. Now, let's move on to a resume activity. For the resume activity, we're going to be analyzing two resumes individually and then comparing them. Let's look at some of the strong and weak points of this resume. It is important to note that this resume represents an individual who is a relatively recent master's graduate with some relevant work experience. Take a few seconds to skim this resume and note some of the strong and weak points. You can pause the video here and then resume to hear some of my observations. Here are some points that I have noted. Regarding strengths, This resume has strong organization and it is easy to skim. The formatting is relatively consistent and they use white space efficiently. I also really appreciate the differentiation between familiar with and experienced with. Depending on your field, this language could assist you in differentiating between the skills you are confident in and those you are still obtaining. Regarding weak points, the formatting of the subpoints on this resume is a little messy and there are inconsistencies regarding how the dates are formatted. Here, I would recommend this individual use months, as workplaces don't typically revolve around spring and fall schedules like universities. I also want to point out student organizations. When forming your resume, you want to think, what is relevant to the position I am applying for? Here, I don't think Quidditch is necessarily their strongest point. Unlike the previous example, this resume represents an individual who has extensive work experience and is a current non-traditional student. Like before, take a moment to write down some of your observations regarding the strong and weak points of this resume. You can pause the video and then resume to hear my observations. Regarding strong points of this resume, they have great content. The resume is easy to skim and they have a clear career trajectory under experience. Regarding weak points, the organization is a little messy and there is formatting inconsistencies with their headings and dates. Here, I would recommend maintaining the same font size and style for the headings and dates. Also, I would suggest either using bold, italics, or underlining for their headings and dates, but not a combination of them. When comparing these resumes, I want you to think about a couple of questions. What do you think about the organization of them both? Is there a good use of white space? What do you think Finley and Addison did well? And how could the resumes be improved? It is important to look at sample resumes and think about them in a critical standpoint. This will help you format your own resume and edit yourself. So, we've talked a lot about resumes. Now, let's talk about CVs. So, before you create a CV, it's important to know, what is a CV? What is a CV? Officially, a CV is a document that outlines your educational, professional, and academic experiences, providing potential employers with a snapshot of who you are and the qualities you possess. That definition sounds a little familiar to the one provided for a resume, right? Well, basically, a CV is a resume, but it provides more details surrounding your work in academia. Let's look at this in a little bit more detail. So what does a CV contain? Regarding topics that are the same as a resume, your CV will include your education, employment history and relevant experience, honors and awards, certifications and accreditations, and campus or community involvement or volunteer work. Where it differs from a resume, a CV will include publications and books, original research, or conferences and presentations. Other optional categories that you can include on your CV are professional qualifications, organization memberships, computer skills, or other relevant skills to the job for which you are applying. So let's look at a CV template. To begin, I want to bring attention to the difference in the teaching experience and research headings. These should change order based on the position for which you are applying. When drafting your CV, ask yourself, what is the focus of your potential employer? Is it teaching or is it research? What is valued more highly for this specific position? Much like the resume example, I want to point out the use of white space. The CV is well balanced and that it uses both sides of the page to display information, maximizing the amount per page. Lastly, I want to talk about the job descriptions and responsibilities, or as seen on the template as job duties. These subpoints may not be included on your CV. For example, if you teach a basic 10-10 course that is offered at all universities, you don't need to include a course description. The name is simply enough. Let's transition into some recommendations for creating and formatting a resume or CV. In a couple of slides, I will show you how to access some resources that will aid in these recommendations. To begin, I recommend creating a master document. This is where you will list everything that you have ever done ever, and it will aid you in tailoring your resume or CV to specific positions in the future by ensuring that you don't forget about anything that you have achieved. On that note, tailor your resume and CV to the specific job application for which you are applying. Every application is going to have different requirements, and your application materials should reflect these. This will show that you are the best person for this position. Contrary to popular belief, word templates are not your friend when it comes to creating a resume or a CV. And while the MTSU Career Development Center has templates, this could result in you using the same design as multitude of other MTSU students. Finally, get feedback. You can start with the University Writing Center for content and formatting, and then submit it to the Career Development Center document drop for additional review. Now for some formatting tips and tricks. First, reduce the margin size. Use a 1/2 inch margins for maximized space, but go no smaller than that 1/2 inch because it may appear overcrowded or cut off some of your content during printing. Use bullet points and columns. These aid in organization and clarity. It also helps you use that white space we've talked about a few times. Keep your headings and subheadings the same. Uniformity and readability are essential. You want to get that interview, so use the same formatting for your headings and subheadings, and also select a simple 11 or 12 point font. I know we've gone over a lot today, so let's discuss some additional resources available to you to further assist in the resume or CV creation process. Let's discuss some resources that are available to you. First is LinkedIn Learning. LinkedIn Learning is a great tool provided to you for free through MTSU. Through LinkedIn Learning, you have access to innumerable resume and CV videos. In addition, they have tutorials on Microsoft Office, which can further aid you in designing and personalizing your resume or CV. Next is the Career Development Center. The Career Development Center at MTSU aids students in their professional development through the PCA document review and document drop, where students can have their professional documents reviewed and receive feedback. In addition, they have professional document guides and samples available on their website. Next is the University Writing Center. As we discussed in the beginning, the University Writing Center has tutoring sessions that are 25 or 45 minutes and can be conducted either face-to-face or online. And we also have resume and CV guides and samples on our website. Hopefully this workshop has provided you with a foundational understanding of the content, formatting, and design elements of resumes and CVs. For additional assistance, please contact the University Writing Center and schedule an appointment with a tutor. This can be done at our website, directly at WC Online, by calling our phone number, or stopping in and saying hey in person at Walker Library in room 362. Thank you so much for your time.